Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at 2010's Batman Under the Red Hood, starring the voice talents of Bruce Greenwood, Jensen Ackles, John DiMaggio, Neil Patrick Harris, Jason Isaacs, and Wade Williams. Written by Judd Winick, adapted from the book of the same name, which he also wrote. So, initial thoughts on Under the Red Hood. This movie is awesome. By far, it's probably easily one of the top 5 best animated movies ever made of DC's works. Such a good movie, so good. Like everything from its story to its cast is all expertly done. Of course, Under the Red Hood, this thing is a good retelling of Death of the Family, which is the death of Jason Todd, and also a good adaptation of his ultimate resurrection as Red Hood. Now, as someone who didn't really read the original work, I've only known the movie version of it, but from what I gather and from what I did research from said book, the movie really is more superior. It really is really much more superior. Especially when you get to the ultimate resurrection of Jason Todd in this movie. It's done much more, unconfusing, for lack of a better word, as it is in a book, which is just a random mess or whatever. But anyway, let's get down to this. It's pretty much, movie opens up with a retelling of Death in the Family, where Batman fails to save Jason Todd after Jason Todd is ultimately killed by the Joker, who had beaten him to death with a crowbar and left him to die in this warehouse that ultimately went kaboom. We flash forward 5 years later, and there's this new mysterious force known as the Red Hood in Gotham City, killing off gangsters and taking their territories. Who is this Red Hood? Then of course we get to Batman, who is on one of his one of his scourges, trying to stop this shipment, which ultimately happens to be this cybernetic cyborg known as Amazo, which brings in Nightwing, and they go tear down Amazo. Now, I got some criticisms here and there with the movie. I think one of the criticisms I got with this movie is this is an overall very grounded movie, and the inclusion of Amazo is, kind of a little far-fetched. It doesn't affect the grade or anything, but it's just a little out there because it kind of conflicts with the rest of the serious tone of the movie once this little action prologue is out of it. And that's pretty much what it is. This whole thing is just here to set the tone for the rest of the movie to come. So that's why it doesn't really bother me at all. It's just very weird. But the juicy stuff kicks in once the Red Hood comes in, and he and Batman have a really cool chase. Though, now this is a gripe I'm putting against the movie. It has a lot of, the overall animation style of this movie is done really, really well. There are certain scenes where the CG animation looks really off. Doesn't really look fully rendered. It looks just really weird compared to the rest of the movie. And that's, to me, that's something that, even if you're working with a tight budget, you do gotta make the base what you can do, but, still, though, it doesn't affect the overall movie as a whole. It's just a minor, and just one little scene. So I guess I won't hold it against the movie, but still, it still really looks a little uneven. It's the beginning chase scene too. I mean, it's nice. It's nicely shot and very intense while Batman's chasing Red Hood, but the CG rendering is a little off. But anyway, this movie does a really good job at its flashbacks and having those flashbacks woven into the story. The first flashback we see, Batman chases Red Hood ultimately to Ace Chemicals, and Batman has that flashback to when the Joker falls into the chemical pits, the original Red Hood, and then this new Red Hood is this place look familiar? All the memories, the sign of your greatest failure, or one of them. I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but it ties in a lot, but ties into the Joker, who plays a big role in this movie because at 2 points in this movie he is contacted by both Ra's al Ghul to distract Batman and Black Mask to distract Batman. And both those times, Joker just says, fuck you. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm a Joker, bitch. And John DiMaggio's performance as the Joker, really underrated. I think he's one of my favorite non-Mark Hamill Jokers. He's my favorite non-Mark Hamill Joker. I think he puts on a real good performance. I like it a lot. He has a lot of funny one-liners that he puts out there. Uh, I like the voice. I like the laugh. Everything. I like the overall aesthetic of the Joker. It looks a little similar to the Dark Knight, which is pretty cool. But and everyone, a lot of people say people who don't like this movie compare it to Heath Ledger. Like I don't really see it. I mean, maybe an attitude, yeah, but that's what the Joker is. The Joker is an agent of chaos. He's here to cause, make chaos and not go by a plan. He's never been much of a planner or a scheme. But I overall like the overall, look and sound of the Joker and a lot of his one-liners. I really like Jason Isaacs as Ra's al Ghul. He has like this. He brings a very earnest, somber tone to him, like this. After Joker ultimately kills Jason Todd, Ra's kind of takes the body, puts it in a Lazarus pit to resurrect him and get returned to Batman because Ra's feels a lot of guilt and feels a lot of guilt for what the Joker did, because Joker did what he was not supposed to do, which was kill Batman's son in a way. So Ra's, as penance from himself, wanted to return Batman's son to him, but it ultimately backfired because the Lazarus Pit, which is what resurrected Jason Todd, and which was an awesome idea that they do not use in the book. Instead, they use this convoluted thing called the Superboy Prime Punch, in which all reality was broken and shit was restarted and whatever. It's very stupid, and it makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. But this makes perfect sense because it's Batman. You have this thing called the Lazarus Pit. It can bring back the dead. Put two and two together, what do you get? A resurrected Jason Todd. It's not that difficult. And I like the fact that the original writer went back and fixed that, because in a way he made it make more sense, and you made Ra's al Ghul important to the plot in a way. And I also like how because of that, Ra's swore to never engage Batman in battle again because of the remorse he was feeling, which I really like it. And Jason Isaacs puts on a really short. It was a very short appearance by Ra's, but very memorable appearance by Ra's. And Jason Isaacs, like I said, very good, earnest performance. And like I said, Bruce Greenwood as Batman. He was awesome. I would love to see more of Bruce Greenwood voicing Batman because he does a more subdued and more grittier Kevin Conroy, but still having its own distinct feel to it, which I thought was great. So yeah, I would take Bruce Greenwood as Batman over any other voice actor aside from Kevin Conroy, because he was perfect. And Neil Patrick Harris as Nightwing was hilarious. He was good. He wasn't annoying at all. He has some good bits here and there. The chemistry he and Bruce Greenwood have is great. Jensen Ackles, who voices Red Hood, was also really, really, really good. And I also like the chemistry he and Bruce Greenwood have. But to me, my favorite is got to be Wade Williams as Black Mask. He is hysterical. He is funny. His first scene, he's just like, "Hey, Dad, what? What?" He starts trashing his office. He's punching his henchmen because the Red Hood foiled his plans. And he's like, one of the best lines he has is like, "When you find this guy, I want a party. And when I mean party, I mean a whole guys with a lot of guns who are going to kill him." Black Mask in this movie he's played for comic effect and it's hysterical, but you also see his vicious side when he's punching everybody out. So it's just hilarious. Black Mask to me steals every scene he's in. Got no complaints on that. And like I said, and of course this is also, like I said, very good detective story and how Batman's trying to unravel the mystery of the Red Hood. And it goes to a crucial part of the movie where he's chasing Red Hood. They go to this train station or whatever, and Red Hood shouts this line out that Batman later uses on the computer to make clear sounding. Says, "You haven't lost your touch, Bruce." Ultimately, knowing that this man that he's chasing knows who he is, and of course we get another flashback to where he takes Jason Todd out to his first night on the field, where they go take on the Riddler. Then from there, we see Jason Todd older, who's a little more aggressive, and breaks the collarbone of a thug. So, right off the bat, we already know that Jason Todd, is a more aggressive Robin who is not afraid to like hurt people, which also plays into his red now damaged mind as Red Hood, where he's now willing to kill people for a greater purpose. I guess you could say. Like again, very well done. The story is very well juggled, very well handled, and like I said, the acting is so spot on. It's so great. But like, once you get to those final few minutes when you got Todd, Joker, and Batman, to me, that's where the movie just comes all together. And you have, Red Hood, and you have Todd and Bruce just bickering back and forth. Todd, forgave Batman for letting him die, but he did not forgive Batman for letting Joker live. And Batman has this great line where he's like, "If I kill him, it makes me no different from them. That's why I can't do it. That's why he's not willing to cross the line." And I love that. That perfectly sums Batman up in a nutshell. Batman can easily kill these guys, but that's the thing. He can easily kill them. To him, what exactly does that mean? If he can easily kill, that means anyone can be easily killed. That's not the idea of Batman. The idea of Batman is to be a symbol of good, not a symbol of homicidal tendencies and rage and shit like that. So again, all very well done in those last couple of minutes. Really, really, you get a feel for Batman's character and his plight. You get a feel for Jason Todd and his plight, because as they're going back and forth, you're saying Jason Todd has a point. Why would you let the Joker live? And they make references to Barbara Gordon, where he says the friends he's crippled. And then, but you understand Batman's plight, where it's like, if he was to kill Joker, what would make him different from Joker? It pretty much makes everything he's ever believed in just mean nothing, because he just can kill just like that. So what's the point? Very, very expertly done. And of course, then we get to the ultimate end, which is the final flashback from Alfred, where we see a young Jason Todd in his first night on the and coming out of the Batcave in the Robin get up, and he has that line, "This is the best day of my life, best moment of my life," whatever how you want to call it. And it's such a bittersweet line, and it can make you tear up after watching this entire movie. Then hearing that, it gives you the feels, because it essentially that this guy's gonna die, then come back and just come back and just be like this shattered shell of his former self. It's very somber movie, very somber ending, very somber movie, and a very somber ending, and the perfect way to wrap up this movie. So yes, Batman Under the Red Hood is a solid 10 out of 10. This movie is fantastic from a acting standpoint, from an animation standpoint, with a couple of little nitpicks here and there. Overall, the story moves at a nice, fast pace. It does a great job of juggling all its characters and giving them all plenty to do and making them all stand out. Sir, we got some major characters like Gordon, Riddler, make cameo appearances. Alfred, of course, is utilized very, very well. So yes, very few bad things to say about this movie, if anything at all. Again, they're just minor nitpicks, because when you have a 10 out of 10 like this, it's very hard to find any negatives with it. So yes, that's my overall thought and opinion on Batman Under the Red Hood. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.